Spark a conversation, verbal elation, stimulation, education. This is Minaj with the Mary Jane Maven. When we on the air, it's always a lituation. Might talk about some litigation, might talk about some immigration, might talk about some politics, but never talking nonsense. Yes, we on in the slide. Watch and listen, it's a vibe. Watch it while you getting high, or you can listen while you drive. Just don't forget to subscribe.
Roll up. Trying to get high.
Welcome to Minaj with the Mary Jane Maven podcast with your host, the Mary Jane Maven. I am the producer, the hubby. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Show us some love and click that subscribe button now. Don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications and click the like button on the videos.
And now, your host.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new podcast. This podcast has been created because of a collaboration, a universal divine intervention, and a meeting of two souls that has really ventured into a different space within content creation and within podcasts. We both have a presence within the space, both within the cannabis realm and this podcast, which is called Music and Mary Jane, also fits right along with that. So I do want to go ahead and get started because there is a very good topic that's going on in the world of music, as we all know right now. If you don't know, I don't know what you're doing. Like, are you one of those weird people that say you don't like music? Because if you don't know, I don't know. But so my name is the Mary Jane Maven. I am a cannabis educator, speaker, podcaster. I have a media company. I am a brand educator, and I am someone who is living within their passion and purpose as long as I'm doing something within the cannabis space to help others educate, eradicate, and elevate their lives and their lifestyle. And the beautiful young woman next to me here, as proverbial next to me. She's in a completely different other state, but that is a different episode where we can talk about collaboration in cannabis and how we've made this connection over thousands of miles. But this is going to be my co-host here and co-host. I can go ahead and continue talking as we know that I can. But once you go ahead and, you take the mic and you let people know a little bit about you and who you are.
What's up, everybody? My name is Shelly Blaze. I'm a content creator mostly over on Instagram and on YouTube. You can find my channels at Shelly Blaze on YouTube and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do content creation for Black women and parents in the cannabis space. I started because I didn't see anybody in that space, and I wanted to be a voice and a face for other moms so that they can know that their cannabis use while being parents is okay. And yeah, I'm here to, make a point and create a space for myself and women alike and men too. Thanks for having me on this show and be your co-host. I'm very happy to do this with you.
Thank you. This has been about a year, half a year in the making. I think you were on. She was a guest co-host on my podcast, Minaj with the Mary Jane Maven, about a year ago. I will say that I'm very happy to break my sabbatical of about 6 months of with Minaj with Mary Jane Maven and putting out new content and be able to kind of break this like I said, sabbatical or a drought that I found myself in due to some other reasons. But I'm happy to do that with you. This is something that we've been talking about for a while. Life happens, but it lets you know that when it's supposed to happen, it will happen.
Yes, indeed.
If it's so this like I said, a divine intervention, a divine plan by universe, and we were going to be able to bring you this content, whether it was going to be tonight or 6 months from now. But I'm happy that it's now. So this podcast is the fact that we are mothers, we are wives, we are women that are working in this industry and also working on ourselves. So sometimes some of what will happen will be real life. So there's going to be knocks on the door, from our children, or I'm going to be very honest, I have to take a pee break at least twice a podcast episode. So that may happen. We don't know. But, um, like I said, this episode is really rooted in the fact that I remember we having a conversation through in your episode where we talked about music, and I remember talking about Russ.
Mhm.
I think we talked about Big Sean, but we were talking about just like our favorite songs. I had a segment slap of the week. What to you? Do you like to smoke too? What song is killing you right now? Like just it's everything is just embodying you. You're embodying it. Just you're succubus of this music. And we started kind of talking about it, and it got us on the subject of how nice it is to be able to be elevated and then make that connection with the song. Or, it brings up a nostalgic meaning, or it reminds you of a certain time in your life that you're just all of a sudden transferred back to. And that is what kind of was the catalyst of this podcast, because I became very interested in the science behind whether or not there was a scientific, proof that music and Mary Jane go so well together, or is it just me? Or is it just people being high? What is it? And it actually is a scientific fact. I don't know where you guys live, but science is everything, okay? Um, it is
Yes.
everything. And the fact that we're able to back up what we know and what we believe in within this industry and within this community, the fact that we can't back it up with science is huge, because that's something that's going to help normalize cannabis and normalize people being able to use it whichever way they see fit. Maybe you only smoke and then turn on some records. Do you? Whatever.
Cannabis cannabis helps people become more creative,
Yeah.
especially if you're already a creative person. I know every time before I make music, I like to have a sesh and it just brings out my flow and brings me closer to the
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah. 1000%. So I love that. So we're going to be talking about your music too. We'll talk about that in an episode. I'm going to go ahead and jot that down. Um, so let me talk a little bit about the actual scientific proof and facts between what music and Mary Jane or weed actually does. So let me pull up I've written an article, or we can give Chat GPT some of the credit here for this article here. Um, but it's when I read this, when I wrote it, when I read it, it spoke just volumes to me. And the reason why is because once I said it, it just kind of proves what we already know and what we already feel. Um, Now, if I can find it, that'd be fantastic. I wrote this a while ago. Let's see here. Excuse me. Where is that? Did I go ahead and share that? Okay, so here we go. So, music and cannabis have always had a strong connection. Recent research, that's the word, is showing that there is more to their relationship than just nostalgia. Studies have shown that cannabis has the ability to enhance creativity. Genius, just said that, allowing people to explore new avenues in music and sound. So music lovers are turning to cannabis as a way of unlocking the creative potential and discovering new ways of expressing themselves musically. So sidebar, I don't know if you've ever seen Walk the Line, Walk Hard. Yeah, with Will Ferrell, right? No, John O'Reilly, where he's going through being a musician, and he's going from like the time of jazz all the way through probably like the 70s, and he gets addicted every time that he's introduced to like a new drug. So weed, which is not a drug, but the I can't remember the comedian's name, the black comedian, Tim something maybe. But he's like he walks in and like there it's a bunch of jazz players, like let's just say his band members, or are in a room at a CD backstage kind of like 1940s kind of club, and he walks in and they're smoking weed, and they're like, "What is that?" And he goes, "You don't want any of this. This is gonna make you creative." And like, there you go. The Dewey Cox story. That's right. He's like, "No, Dewey, you don't want any of this. This is
Oh
just gonna
yeah,
make
I
you."
remember
Yeah.
that scene.
So that is it's crazy, because if you really look back into a lot of the stars and those that really helped to create the genre of jazz into now, because as we all know, and if we don't know, we should know, all music is pretty much, well, not pretty much, but is inspired and it started by people of color,
Oh
predominantly,
yes.
especially American music is, from black people. So that's funny just to say that we know back then Billie Holiday, um, you know, um, who was the saxophone player whose jaws or his cheeks would get hella big.
I wish I
Dizzy
knew.
Gillespie? Was it Dizzy Gillespie? Gillespie? Yeah, so just they all have either to have a song about weed, and talked about the creativity that, as you know, it's instilled in them all the way through the Beatles and Dizzy Gillespie? Yeah, the Beatles, and just you look back in, 60s, 70s, especially when there's that kind of freedom movement, and yeah, we smoke weed and it is what it is, and we do other drugs. A lot of that, creativity or a lot of those songs, were rooted within cannabis. So as I was reading, there is a scientific, proof about it that your auditory system, it actually becomes better. It increases. So that's why sometimes you may feel like you're within the music. Do you ever
Mhm.
feel like they're talking to you? You can really relate to what they're saying and what they're, the
Yeah.
sounds, the track. I the way that I listen to music is I break it down from the track, the lyrics. My husband can definitely tell you there are songs that I thought for years I was singing the right lyrics and not at all. And I'm like, what have I been grooving to for all these years? But it's been, my connection with it and just the feel and the vibe of it. What do you have like a very strong kind of memory, or do you have a song that like us we talked about it before that kind of takes you back, the nostalgia and an example of what Mary Jane and music does for you?
One story that comes to mind, and it has to do with my husband actually when we first got together. One of our favorite songs, and I think I told you this in the other episode,
Hmm.
but one of our favorite songs was the song by The Weeknd, and it was called Rolling Stone. And I remember, like, when I listen to that song now, it always brings me back to being in the Bay Area, driving on the bridge at night on my way home to either his house or back to my house,
Hmm.
you know, and us just having a moment together and really
Yeah.
being in tune. And the way that I listen to music is I don't always necessarily listen to the lyrics. I mostly connect with the actual beat of the song, the
Yes. Yeah.
instrument. You know, I love the way how when you listen to a beat, and especially freestylers, if I listen to a beat, I can actually match the words with the sound without even having to listen
Yes.
to the whole entire beat
Yeah.
first. And I know
Yep.
when the beat's gonna drop. I know when it's gonna hit hard. Because you could feel it. Like music is ingrained in
Yes.
us,
Yeah.
especially for those who are creative. We can just feel it in our bones and in our veins. And that's one of the reasons why I love music so much and I feel so connected. It can make you happy, it can make you sad, like you can really feel it,
Yeah.
depending on what the mood is.
And I have to say culturally, and I don't want to just completely, stereotype or say this is how it is, but I think a lot of our culture, I mean, play a Frankie Beverly and Maze song. You have some I don't care what age you are. I mean, okay, I'll say you have to be probably late millennials and later to or of that. So Gen X to really and appreciate and to have like a memory of being at a barbecue, or maybe your uncle played that, or you know what I'm saying. September, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think that's probably much more than just Black culture, but we all have a connection to it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's those songs that you heard. For example, Poetic Justice, the barbecue scene. They played that entire 7-minute, maybe 10-minute scene was full of just exactly what family reunions are. Family reunions in the park, Black people getting together and having a barbecue, a baby shower, or whatever it is. A lot of that comes from the experiences that you have too. So I also think that's something that makes it super strong. But I like what you said because I still hear 21 Questions by 50 Cent. And I remember exactly the day that my husband called me and was like, we weren't husband and wife then, but told me like, I heard a song, you know, and you got to hear it. It reminds me of you. And I was like, I still to this day remember that. Like my children even know that's our song. So there's
Oh,
some importance to that. But I like what you said about, the beat because that definitely leads us into what the topic of this main topic of this episode is going to be. I instead of really kind of going, this is what this podcast is going to be about. It's pretty damn simple, guys. Weed and music. All right. So we're going to talk about what's going on within music. We're going to talk about, maybe there'll be the best R&B artist of the 90s. Maybe another one will be, crunk, music. Cause the other day I was listening or watching something about Little John and I was like, God damn, he was a lot of my college. And that was a lot of shit talking we basically did because that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? Like just challenging people Bia, like all that shit. So it may be something like that. It may be around, you know, Grown and Sexy Night. I do want to say I loved your content, which is a shout out to go and view her content that you did with you and your husband recently, and your husband had some edibles. Not gonna say too much more than that, but go and check it out, guys. All right. If
Oh
you're
my
in front of a
god.
couple where one of you is a smoker and the other one not so much, but maybe you can, get them to drink a little drink or take an edible one time or, let them take a charge from you. This
I
is
do
something
want to
this
say
is the
that
episode you have to see.
that was something really special. Like the fact that he is not a smoker, but he's willing to at least take edibles with me. Like that
Yeah.
makes us. We have such a bond when we do that together, and
Yeah.
we'll sit here
Yeah.
and watch TVs, listen to music. We'll just have a good
And
time.
just have conversations and just chill with each other. And what I loved about it is that he's supporting you and what you're doing, your content creation. Like he could easily said, I'm not tell a story about it. He could easily said that. But the fact that he went all in, that is a big thing. That's super awesome. So
Thank
I
you.
don't want to ruin it because it's like a spoiler to, a Marvel movie or something right now. But you guys definitely go out. You're gonna have to go onto her channel and check that out. It's something definitely. And then her dabbing episode, you guys definitely because that one I was weak as fuck. She was so high. But I don't want to ruin it either. But that one was a good one too. I was actually gonna say let's start this episode with a dab, but because I was so late, I was like, let's not do that, or this won't. This will be going to like midnight.
Mm.
But so this episode we are going to talk about, like I said, what you guys should all already know, what everybody's reacting to. I think we're all waiting patiently for the response that should be coming. So talking about music, talking about tracks, let's go ahead and talk about what it probably of 2024 is probably going to be the hardest song to come out, and that's Like That by Future and Metro Boomin.
Yeah,
I
that.
I I mean, even just saying it, I have chills. It is damn near flawless as far as the production. So we'll start with Metro Boomin. We'll start with just the track itself. Future sounds the same on everything. Let's respectfully, but
This
he killed it with that one. What did you think about it?
the song. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely ignored the future part a little bit because, like you said, he does sound the same on every freaking song
Yeah,
he's on.
yeah,
But when it came to Kendrick Lamar's verse, like you can feel it in his. You can feel what he feels in his soul about
yes,
how he
yes,
feels about him being,
yes.
better than the top
But
three. The
yes,
fact that he
yes,
called these guys a bum,
yes,
like he was
yeah.
not afraid. And after
At
watching
all.
the videos,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing the diss track come back to 2024, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god, I nearly passed out in my chair listening to the
Because
damn song.
it's kinda like a soap opera. It's kinda like, "Oh, no, they didn't." Like, who what's going on? And to see that it's been going on, though, for so long. I think as fans, because we've had the industry or not the industry, but the genre itself just so inundated with other types of, genres of rap and not real rappers and, the Tekashis and the Little Pumps and all that. Since we've kind of had it inundated with all this other filler, we haven't
Mhm.
really paid attention. I don't think. I know I will be honest in saying, as a fan, I have not really paid attention to the fact that there was this back and forth that went on between J. Cole, I call him Aubrey, like he's my best friend, Drake and Kendrick. I didn't
Yeah.
understand. And I'll be honest, as far as who my top three would be right now, I wouldn't. I don't see J. Cole there. Okay, I'm not. Look, please, nobody cancel us. Don't be up. Those that are J. Cole fans, but I just never put him
I'm a J. Cole
in
fan.
that category as a contender for the GOAT, or the best right now. Um, how about you? What would you say about the
I
three of them?
Okay, so I've always been a Drake fan since he was in a wheelchair on Degrassi. Okay,
Yes, yes.
and I used to. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of my early music when I was in high school, I did imitate a lot of Drake's style and how he rapped. I learned
Mhm,
from him.
mhm.
But I realized that Drake is not the same type of rapper as, say, like Kendrick Lamar, because they have two different stories to tell.
Yes.
So this
Yep.
is why this beef is kind of interesting to me because these niggas is not the same. Like they are
At all.
not,
At
you
all. At
know.
all.
So the
I love
beef
that you
is
say that.
crazy.
Yeah. I love that you
It's
say that, especially because it seems like Drake. I don't think I've realized it until doing research for this. He does kind of, I don't want to say latch on, but I don't know if he sees a talent in people that he's like, let me go ahead and work with them because they're about to blow up. You know what I'm saying? Or let me have my body of work with them, just in the catalog of music and music history. Because, you know, if you look at it, he has kind of a lot of his features and stuff where I would probably consider it like Drake killed it. Like he took over whatever feature he was doing. Either those artists are no longer here or no longer relevant, or were already relevant. And he's kind of fell into their bracket. For example, a Little Wayne. I mean, of course, Little Wayne, because that's who helped find him. But you know, but even to go out of like the newer people, Jack Harlow. Like I still say that what is that song? Kentucky, whatever, Kentucky Derby, is that what it's called? I know they were at the Kentucky Derby. But that one with Jack Harlow, Drake, I mean, I, what? Like to me, flawless. Flawless. Um 21 Savage. I love fucking 21 Savage. Loved him for a long time. Churchill Downs. Same difference. I said Kentucky Derby. I think that's where the Kentucky Derby happens. But you know, 21 Savage, which is if we kind of go back to where like that has come from, like where all this animosity is, because a lot of people are like, wait, Future and Drake are beefing? Where did that come from? Well, yes.
Oh yeah.
So they've been beefing on and off since about since right after What a Time to Be Alive, which another sidebar, some of Future's best work. I've said for years, Future only sounds good when he's on somebody else's track, like or working with somebody. Um, but I guess it was supposed to be a What a Time to Be Alive too. And that's been pushed back a couple of years. And then he came out with Her Loss. And so that was like a slap in the face to Future. Like, wait a minute, how are you going to keep pushing back our stuff? But yet you come out with a whole album with 21 Savage, who, let's be honest, 21 and Future, very close, you know, very close flows. Um, you know, they both have like a tagline that they're known by. It's just it's easy to say, oh, this is a Future track or this is 21 Savage. But you can go ahead and like switch their songs or give them each words of their songs, and it's the same kind of delivery. Um, but I love 21 too. I mean, 21. Like if you don't know anything else, you can really sing along to a 21 song. All you gotta do is
Yeah.
21. 21.
This song
Listen.
definitely does get
Yeah, yeah,
the head
yeah.
bobbing.
I love them. But so the first thing was the album. The second thing was Over a Chick. So
Oh
some of
yeah.
the lyrics, yeah, so some of the lyrics that they've both shot at each other, they've talked about pillow talking. And this was over, I can't remember the young lady's name, but she works at
It was
Booby or
it was
something in
a girl
Miami.
named Princess Diana or something
Princess.
like
There you
that.
go. There you go. I don't know how I forgot that because I was like, oh, she's just gonna go ahead and use that name, huh? But
Right? That's what
allegedly,
I said.
yeah, they accused each other of pillow talking with her. And they both have lyrics where it's like we're smashing her both. Like so they're acknowledging this, this is going on. Um, that's crazy to me. One, y'all sound like some little girls. What do you mean? Like what?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, throughout since I was watching the videos and learning like how these beefs started, I'm like, this is childish. Like
Super.
this is ridiculous. This is what you guys are beefing off of when it comes to Future and Drake specifically. I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah, because they do make good music. And now, what's the worst part is this chick that they're beefing over allegedly has a man, and she just be like
Oh,
playing both of them and getting money and stuff. But she got to like she's not even serious about either one of them. So if that's true, like, come on, y'all, really, like, come on. And respectfully to her, she's beautiful, but she's not like you can't find 100 of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
yeah.
like you guys get a love doll, like get something if you really need. It's
No,
yeah,
seriously,
not that
because
hard.
I don't think I would beef over anybody, male or female. If over a person that you sleeping with that you're not intending to marry, I don't see the
Right?
point.
And you're playing with both of them. Like what? Like, hey, do you? If you and your man is okay with it, and he knows it, if this is all true or whatever, do you? Kudos.
He
However,
probably sitting back chilling.
chilling, just off their money, just off their
For
money.
real.
But both of them, you guys could have anybody that you want. And so it's like you guys are really letting that interfere with money, which is crazy to me because that's crazy, you know. But Drake also has so much of it. I guess he doesn't care, you know.
Yeah,
So
because
um,
Future was about to sue Drake over the 1.5 million that he would have lost
yeah,
if he couldn't
yep,
continue on his tour.
yeah.
And I'm like, that man, you about to let that man crash out over a girl or whatever it
Over a
was.
chick.
And the fact that it was a chick, I was like, what? All this is
Yeah,
happening over a chick?
over a girl. Like it started there, and it's starting over like stupid stuff. Like you know, it it really seems like high school, like legit. Like, but it seems like girls in high school. Like you're not supposed to like her because I don't like her. So if I don't like her, you don't like her. And if you know, it's kind of like that thing. Like, well, we were supposed to go to the mall together, not you and her. So
Yeah.
same thing, but like it's album wise, and it's you guys are not hurting by waiting a year or whatnot because in my opinion, you guys are putting out the banger hits. You're the ones that have a little longevity right now, not compared to any of these other fly by night kind of rappers, that may have a good hit, a TikTok hit, or whatever else. You guys should feel like I'm cemented. I'm okay, whether I wait a year, whether I wait 2 years or whatever. But, you know, money's involved and money affects human beings, period, but especially with men. Like,
Hmm. Ego.
So yeah, Um, so a little bit about I wanted to ask you, do you know what two songs that Metro sampled for the Like That beat? Just
I do
two
not.
songs.
It's
So
too long. What are they?
yes. So one is Easy Does It by Easy E.
Okay.
And the other one is, oh my gosh, I just had it the other day. You said what? No, it wasn't Kumodi, but it was an 80s song. Um, so what is that? What is that? What song was that? I just had a my tongue and I haven't even smoked yet, which I'm about to, by the way. Mm, mm, mm. So, what do you think out of while I'm looking this up, what do you think are out of Kendrick's verse? What line, what bar, what like floored you? What made you go, "Oh shit." Like
It was really, and I actually have it right here. Hold on. It was
Everlasting Bass. That's what it is. By Rodney G and Rodney O and Joe Cooley. Everlasting Bass. Dun, 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 dun. That one right there. So he sampled those two. If you
okay.
guys don't know,
I did notice that the song did seem like an old school beat.
it's very yeah, both of them. So that's genius to me. I think that he did. Who would have ever thought to like sample those two together and that they go together so well? And he was able to just create this crazy beat, like the bass behind it. Like yeah, it's to me, like I said, flawless. The track itself, flawless. Um, but yes, the words, especially Kendrick's part. I mean, that could be literally the whole song. He could just do that. What was that? 16 bars, maybe? Was 16 bars they did? Maybe 32?
The
Kendrick's, yeah. And Kendrick's part?
the the part that got me with this is when he was talking about. He said, "Lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If you walk around with a stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location? I still got PTSD. Motherfucker, the big three niggas just big me." I was like, oh my God.
I mean, like, and that's crazy because I listened to first person shooter today. What's funny is, my I use YouTube Music. That's how I stream. YouTube Music's playing with me because it knew, like, let me go ahead and like it just knew I was on a ride. I was on a 30-minute ride to a demo, and it must have been like, let me go ahead and allow you. Now you thinking about it, really hear this back to back. So first person shooter came on right after like that, and I was like, oh, that's where the big three. Okay, that's where that came from. Like it's like he went line by line of J Cole's verse, and on the first person shooter song and was like, I'm gonna answer it here and like this and like this. Like the pettiest but the best response. I think that definitely if there has to be a who won right now, it's 1-0 because I don't think they were
Yeah.
expecting I, I'm sure there was maybe whispers, but I do not think they were expecting Metro and Future to get Kendrick to come. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think of Future and Kendrick to do like to even Kendrick to even know who Future is. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just once again different rappers, different people. Um, so yeah, I probably I have to agree. I think that line and then when he says about the canines or canine babe, remember that part when he was like surrounded by that part. It's I mean the the storytelling that he does behind it, just like any of his other songs or his albums where he does a great job of storytelling. You like you said, not only you felt the the vitriol, you felt the passion that he had behind it.
My
Whether
thing,
it's true hate or I'm not gonna say hate, but disdain for them, or whether it's let's get hip hop back to what hip hop used to be, which is about the the competition, but not in a way where we're talking about killing each other.
yeah, like this
Kendrick did
feels
it.
like an old school competition. It feels like
Yeah.
two rappers kind of trying to show their
Yes.
hands, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I feel like he wants Drake and he wants J.
Yep.
Cole, whoever, to
To step
come
it up.
out and
Yes.
verbally and
Yep.
say whatever
Yep.
they need to say instead of
Yep.
dropping hints. Because
Yes. Yeah.
it goes back to like what you were saying, how all these other rappers out here, they are kind of like clouding the scene almost and
Mhm.
making people feel like, you know what, I don't even need to listen to this crap no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's really how it is. Because
Yeah.
if I'm being quite honest, I haven't really sat down and like, oh, you know what, let me listen to a certain artist. Because I like to listen to real artists like Kendrick.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to listen to J. Cole. I like to listen to Drake. These are artists to me. I don't really listen to like Lil Pump or whoever the fuck. Like I don't
Autumn
listen to these
got him, and
artists.
yeah, I get you. Yeah, and like mad respect because I know that he's done very successful for himself. And Oli Choppa, NBA YoungBoy. Nah, maybe if you have a verse on somebody a bigger song or whatever, but that's not who I'm checking for. I will tell you the newest probably artist that I am checking for that I really, really, really like and I think has a lot of talent is that Mexican OT.
Oh yeah, he fire. I've
He
listened to his stuff.
fire. Yeah,
The way that
long
he
time ago.
raps,
Yes, yeah, yeah, and
like
I'm loving his growth, and I'm just loving that you see like he's very honest about his story, and that you can see what he's working hard for, and that he's different. I mean, who have we had that's been a Mexican that's been big in rap?
I can't name one.
That, I mean, now if we talk about Northern California rap, we had a lighter shade of brown. We had they were the ones that sang Back to the Hotel, right? Yeah. Um, who else? Yeah, Back to the Hotel. Dun-dun. Oh my gosh, you know that song, babe. Lighter shade of brown did okay, so you Google that while I yes. So, and then we had La Raza, but that wasn't you like, I'm dating myself here. I don't even think you were born when that song
I
came out.
don't know.
Yeah, this is for La Raza. Like, it was yeah, if you guys were around at the time of, the jukebox, then you know what song I'm talking about. Um, on a Sunday afternoon was yeah. Yeah, so who was Back to the Hotel? And who was the other ones? Oh my gosh, that Be Real was from. Be Real's from House of Pain? No, I thought House of Pain was they were the Irish ones. I'm gonna Be Real was real. I think they were the only other yeah. So, those are the only ones that I could think of, but honestly, In Too Deep. Boom, there you go. So once again, Northern California, 90s, they were cracking. I mean, I should have known because they actually taped one of their videos in William Land Park. You said what, babe? Cypress Hill. Okay, so that's probably the most widely known, I would say, successful, rappers that have been Latino. And I know there's a lot now, but they're like geographically popular. LA, Central California. I'm sure there's some others, but that Mexican OT, and he's young. We're definitely gonna be talking about him. I don't think he's gonna be a, you know, 2, 3 album type deal. Um,
He's definitely on the map. Like
yeah.
he got Texas turned all the way up.
Yes. And so kind of reminds me of how we got into like Bun B and how we got into all that, like that southern kind of rap for that bit of time in our rap history, recent rap history. So in the mid 2000s, 2010s, there was a little bit of that focus. So I'm seeing that he's kind of bringing that back to the map. Paul Wall. That whole and Paul Wall helped him, kind of blow up. So um I love him. I do love him. But I'm with you there on anybody else I'm not really checking for. Um so I did want to ask, we've talked about I think that the consensus throughout the hip hop community or any entertainment community, anybody talking about this is that Kendrick won. And I like what you said. Kendrick is only presenting it in a fact like your turn. Now you come back, especially J. Cole, because this album that he's coming out with is supposed to be his last. So
Hmm.
he's definitely challenging. He's something like I think Joyner Lucas is probably the hip hop artist or the rapper in the past recent years that has also like, now your turn. Like I'm putting this out there, show that you're as good as I am. Russ, another one, but I don't think Russ is as respected as he should be. Um, but I definitely agree with, this is an invitation. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Like,
should,
let me see what you got,
yeah,
and everybody waiting too. Like, when Drake gonna drop
yeah.
something? And
I mean, and then
and
Drake's
J.
done what
Cole.
he does, and I love Drake. Like I said, I love Drake, but he definitely does this little light skin stuff where he comments through social media. So it could also be just optics of people looking at his posts and saying, "Well, this has to relate to this." But he made like a very passive aggressive IG post that could be taken as his response. But I mean, look, how many battles or beefs has Drake been in where he's all of a sudden dropped some shit at 12:02, at night, much like tonight on a Friday, and just shut everybody up for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Just shut the world down. Meek Mill, back to back, all that shit came out. Every time he came out with it, it came out at after 12 on like a Thursday or Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. And it was kind of like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't see him being quiet. That's like Eminem not responding to Benzino after all these years. Like Eminem doesn't need to. He has so much work that it should shut Benzino up. But yet Benzino can't shut the fuck up. So what is Eminem supposed to do? You know? Um, just another nail in the coffin for Benzino, but that's once again a different episode. So I did want to ask you, as far as the big three, we've kind of talked about, you know, in our opinion, whether or not they're the big three. Um, I feel like as far as current rap, and if we have to say that somebody is a GOAT, Kanye's taken out of the conversation, right now. Um, who else do you have? Like Lil Wayne's already solidified itself, Eminem, Jay-Z. We already have those are solidified. But if we have to say that right now, in the past 10, 15 years of rap, who's really the one that's, the GOAT or the big three? I would concede to say yes, it's these three. My question to you is, by each one of the big three, what is your opinion, and what is your absolute favorite song by each three of the gentlemen?
Oh man. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to go and Google their track list because I don't remember names that well. But so for me, I'm gonna start with Drake because I'm more familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
Started from the Bottom is one of my favorite songs of his.
Okay.
And simply because, he went back to the place that I grew up and did a record there. I remember vividly him being in Vallejo, California, shooting his video and me wanting to be there so bad. Like, I just feel like Drake is the type of artist who's able to change up his flow. Like, he can do hardcore rap, but he can also make those love songs. And he just changes up his style, effortlessly. And that's what I love about him. Now, J. Cole, he is one of those type of artists who he talks about stuff that he's actually been through and stuff that's actually going on. He talked about his life. And I don't think he wants to be the type of rapper to be flashy or be in the forefront. Like, he's okay with being in the background and dropping his stuff because he's making it for people who are made for him,
Yeah.
He has his own audience, so he doesn't care about what anybody else got going on.
Yeah.
And
then he like quit or like take a break and go play soccer or basketball or some shit.
He
He's
did.
like, I'm gonna try this now. Yeah.
He did. He quit for a while, focused on his family, and then he came back. He been said he wanted to get out the game. And now he about to drop his last album. Like, I can't wait for it. That to me, everybody is a GOAT in like their own way.
Yeah.
And they all have their own purpose. And Kendrick, I feel like he is what rap used to be for me. He is the guy keeping what we know as rap from the 90s and the early 2000s, at least for me. he's what rap is. He talks about the struggle
Storytelling. Mm-hmm.
of people around him, his own. He tries to bring awareness to things. You know, I remember when I was watching the video, he was talking about how he had to get used to the crowd
Yes.
he was
Mm-hmm.
generating, you know? And
Yeah.
that's because
Yeah,
he
like
has
that.
like
Yeah.
he kind of I'm not trying to relate him to Nipsey, but he reminds me of Nipsey in a way that he wants to stay to his people and he
Yes.
wants to be there for his people that he grew up around.
Like
You
he
know,
never, I don't think he ever did it to become rich and famous. He did it
yeah,
because it was a way to tell a story. And yes, maybe that would be a way out for him and then be able to start like his own label or whatnot. And so the episode or the story that you're talking about, and we'll share the links to a couple of these other videos, in the show liners and stuff, but for you guys to check on. But I liked how it it kind of broke down. I never realized that Drake kind of took him under his wing and showed him a different side. Because at that point, Drake was doing Drake, partying,
yeah,
girls, strip clubs, and whatever. And Kendrick wasn't from that. Kendrick was still very like, I'm still waiting on my first advance, type shit. Like he was still very humble and still trying to figure out who he was going to be within the industry. And Drake showed him a little different way of that by taking him on tour and whatnot. So I think that, like you said, that caused not a dissension, but allowed them to see just how different they were and how
hmm
different their journeys and their paths were supposed to be within this industry. So then that I think naturally, organically kind of made like this kind of, back and forth, this beef
yeah,
because they are so different. Although they do have a history in the past together. I could definitely see, you know, these Negroes being 60, 70 years old and we find out that they're best friends. You know what I'm saying? Like because they had this journey together that helped them to be who they're going to be when it's finally said and done. You know what I'm saying? When they're put
yeah.
into that, that hall of fame, what got them into that position. So,
And
I
then
mean, oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna
Oh, no,
say,
no,
so
go ahead.
like, I remember a part where Kendrick was saying how like the people who are affected by it, basically, you saying that this is for you. If you got a problem with what I'm saying, then this is for you.
Yeah.
And then the person that responded to it was Drake. But
Yeah.
that was said before I knew that they had a long standing issue going on
The issue going, yeah.
because other people have been mentioned in Kendrick Lamar songs, like Big Sean and a few other people, and
Yeah.
nobody really responded. Everybody was like, "Oh, well, this happens in rap. People are gonna come for you, and you
And they
shouldn't
took
take it so hard."
yeah. They took it
And then,
with a grain of salt. So part of
yeah,
that makes me feel like, we always can make the joke that yes, light skins are sensitive, respectfully. And Drake is definitely one. I mean, how many songs we've heard about strippers that he loved or girls that he loved or, whatever else. So he does have that side of him. That's who he is. That's innate in him. I think that's what he is. So part of me wonders, was it sensitivity or was it a plan? You know what I'm saying? For him to be like, "Well, I'm gonna be the only one to respond, so let's create this narrative that." I I think that does kind of add to his demeanor or, he's like he can be that sensitive one, but he can also come back with some jabs and get at you. You know what I'm saying? So I think
yeah,
I think it was a mastermind plan, like a plan, a master plan for him to be like, "Well, let me go ahead and set myself up as this guy who can talk shit or speaks up when nobody else is gonna speak up because I'm that guy. Like, I'm the one that speaks up for the people that are the underdogs. So I'm wondering, like, because I feel like a lot of his movements are are created by his emotions, but I also feel like he knows what role that he plays. Like, he's not a villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can play either side. So, that just makes me wonder, but it's interesting because it's how everybody responds to it, which makes this a even a conversation, you know? Um, I think that you either love Drake or you hate Drake, and if you hate Drake, it's because you think that he's a weenie, he's sensitive, he starts
yeah,
stuff, he inserts himself into something. But then if you're a fan of his, then you see that as kind of like something that he has to do. Like they're all playing this role, overall,
yeah. I
to
kind of feel
some
like
extent. So
because while watching these videos and stuff, they were saying how like one guy was saying how like Drake is like always nice to Kendrick. No matter how many disses he gets, uh Drake is gonna come out with a post or a memory about him and
mhm,
Kendrick. And I'm like, if he keeps trying to make the peace, why does Kendrick keep coming after him? And the thing that I
yeah,
think it is Kendrick wants Drake to, he wants him to like really show his ass and show
Yeah.
that he can
Yeah.
be in this rap game, you know?
And
And
step up. Yeah.
that's what Kendrick is waiting for. Like he's
Yeah.
waiting for Drake to really drop bars
Like
and
maybe
probably
like he's
like
saying,
he
I'm a
hasn't.
true adversary. Like everybody else she's gone against. It's kind of like 50 Cent going against Ja Rule. It still to this day, you lost bad. That was a bad, like, for you to go against him at that time, like, maybe you had confidence in yourself, but you should not have done that. So it's kind of that thing where, like, maybe, and even I think if you overall look at it, anybody that Drake has gone against, he has kinda sunned. And so maybe now, if it is the big 3, then let the big 3 show that they're really, you know what I'm saying, that they're true
Yeah.
adversaries, that they really deserve to be in that position. That's I that's kinda deep, like, and I can definitely see that. And, um, if that is honestly the case, man, kudos to you, Kendrick, because that is really creating good old school kinda hip hop without the gunshots and the bloodshed and anything else happening. This is
Yeah.
just true. Let's see the lyricism, let's see your creativity, let's
Yeah.
see your talent, let's see that you really belong in the big 3. And with that ending, with him saying, "It's not big 3, it's just me," he's basically saying, "This is where it is right now. So if you guys want the other 2 spots, or if we want those to be 3 spots, come back to what I just said." So,
Right.
hey,
And that's what
this
we're waiting for. We're
yeah,
waiting.
right, right, right. So Imma put this in the universe, okay? Kendrick, hear this episode somehow and go, "They got it. Spot on. They get it." Right? That'd be fire. Um, but yeah, I know the favorite songs that we have. It's very hard for me. I posed that question and I was like, "Ooh, I love Drake." I don't know. I don't know which one would be, my number 1 song, but one song that I listened to religiously, and it was on my, like, most played songs of last year, um, it's actually off of "What a Time to Be Alive" with Future, and I it speaks to me so, so much, and it's crazy that it speaks to me, and this is an example of how stuff can speak to you and you can relate to it without actually relating to it, because there's a lot about, the song or, like, what they rap about that I can't relate to. I mean, come on. I'm a black woman that grew up in a very, very, very suburban, almost farming type of town, um You know, other than just having the regular adult kind of like struggles. I I can't, I can't super relate to it, but just Drake's verse. I'm gonna say this, so I'm gonna put all the things that speak to me. I can't even put it down to one song. The verses that he talks about when he's like, I was being held back. Like I had this mission, I had this dream. I knew that I was supposed to be where I was supposed to be. I was always ready for it, but I had people hold me back. And despite that, I came back and I did better. Or I came, I got to the top spot. Anything that's kind of motivating, but he's also talking a little shit in. That's that that's the shit for me. Um, but also like Diamonds Dancing, Plastic Bag, like that songs like that. The Real Her, um, you know, uh my gosh. Yeah, the anything with Jhené Aiko, like, I think is just fire. Um, Pound Cake, I could just go on. So
Oh yes.
I'm a Drake fan, a Drake fan. Now, as far as, J. Cole, Wet Dreams, love that song. I think that was great storytelling. Um, and actually it helped me to go, "Is that really what boys go through?" As being a boy mom, I was like, "Is that a real experience?" And my husband was like, "Yeah." Like, everything he said, that's what boys in puberty and teenage boys, that's what they think and what they go through. And it was cool to just kinda see if you don't remember that song, that's when he's talking about him losing his virginity and he kinda, lied to the girl the whole time saying he was all experienced and he was not. Um, and that song to me, that's fire. I know to other people that's probably like, "Oh, that's a commercial song or whatever," but to me, that is it. As far as the Kendrick Lamar song, I think he has one called Loyalty, but I think he has one called Lust, I think. Let's
I
see.
definitely know about the loyalty song.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm singing that in my head right now. Yeah, Lust by Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, that one, yeah, that's my favorite. Um, anything off of, I think, I think Mad City is probably a lot of people's favorite. I mean, that's why he won, he should have been winning the Grammy and shit like that for that year. But that to me, and I think the reason why those anything that's kinda older is because that's when to me, if we have to say the big 3, they were really thirsty. Like, you could see
Yeah.
then they were hungry, they were thirsty, it was different, it was fresh, it was, and they all had their lane to stay on. Now that they're grown men and they're getting later in life and, in their 30s, um, you definitely see the growth and how they are different people. So I like the idea instead of thinking that this is like some, petty social media, internet shit that's going on, that it's really with the intention of creating some good, competitive, creative, lyrical bars, fire, Dylon type, rap, rap that we could be very proud of and that in the next 50 years of when rap is celebrated, you know, this is a story or, a chapter that just solidifies or continue to solidify hip hop as a musical genre. Um,
Yeah, because it's to me, it's been a long time that I've been like actually glued to a rap beef or whatever,
yeah,
or
yeah,
trying to see what's happening next.
yeah,
Like this stuff is everywhere, and it brings excitement to all the artists because
yeah,
everybody's going back to the songs to look at the lyrics to see
yes, yep,
what. Because when we listen to songs and I hear certain stuff, I'm like, damn, what is he talking about? And you're like, you don't know really, and then you
yes,
find out that he was talking about so and so. You're like, damn, what? So let me go back and listen to this and see what he had to say. Like
yeah.
it causes us to have a want to look at the paper trail.
Yes. I mean, it's same way, like, so that one of the videos we were talking about, I think they went over some lyrics that to me, I thought the entire song was about a chick.
Yeah.
Where he says, I don't know why you lying, but your shit is not that inspiring. Bank account just looking like I'm ready for early retirement. Like it's stuff like I was like, could be to me, just the overall essence of the song seemed like he was maybe talking to a chick. Like a no, but no, 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 no. He's fucking talking to Kendrick Lamar that whole time.
Mhm.
It's so definitely it's good for genre overall for the community, those hip hop lovers, because like you said, it allows people to go back and kind of respect and listen to the music again and remember why that album was one of your favorites or why it's even on your playlist. So it definitely I give kudos to all of them. I hope that it continues to produce songs and reactions and like everything that's on the internet right now, people just living in this. I hope we have a whole year, that 2024 and ends up, started with Cat Williams and, this whole Diddy thing going on. But hopefully we'll have this as continuance with something that is, that source of energy and positivity. And like I said, just bringing it back to good, competitive rap, and hip hop and showing the talent of these three men because they are very talented. Um, so I love your insight on it. I love that right now, I feel like I went into it with, "Ooh, what is this mess?" And, like we said, them being petty and beefing over a chick and whatnot. It kind of, taking Future out of it, it kind of brings it all to fruition where there's can be, and hopefully there is a positive, outcome from all of this, and that we're all going to benefit from it with some really good timeless music. So,
Yeah, I think we are. I think it's gonna be great, and everybody's looking forward to J. Cole dropping something if he
yeah.
does, and Drake. We all know he might, like you said, he
Oh,
might do a
he's going
12
to.
a.m. drop like
Yeah,
that. He's definitely gonna post some light skin shit. He's not letting this go.
at all,
He
at all.
is.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. It's
It
and
is
it's like
coming.
yeah, and he's probably gonna come up with somebody that we're like, "How did he get him?" Somebody that nobody's gonna think of, like somebody you know what I'm saying? Like, either he's just gonna come out with some bars and just it's gonna be different than, like, the Pusha T, like them telling on each other and that back and forth. This is
Yeah,
completely different. It's definitely gonna be on some other this is what maybe it's gonna be a lot of, braggadocious stuff about this is what I've done, these are the hits that I've made, these are the, accolades that I've received, but it's gonna be in a way that is gonna be, like I said, people are gonna go back and these are lyrics that people are going to cherish and quote, kinda like, you know, Tupac with Hit 'Em Up. Everybody knows that. First off,
oh
that
yes,
bitch
oh
and the
my
click you
god.
claim, like, just there are certain things that within our musical history, especially within hip hop, that are embedded into our society and into our vernacular, and just, you know, everybody roll up some really good weed and sit back, and just listen to these lyrics and just, put yourself in a space where you're a fan and you're a fan that is just a, you know, somebody that's sitting back watching and waiting, and excited about it. And that's what makes it good. That's once again, what makes music such an important part of our life is an experience in a time like this. So I'm happy that this has happened because this, was a really good topic, I think, for this first episode.
It
And
was.
I think over this year we're gonna have a lot more topics about the new album that's out, the new song, the response. Um, it's gonna be, I think, a really good positive year with the music, and we need it because music has been a little, eh, you know, hit
Yeah,
and miss here and there.
I'm excited to see what else we talk about because this gives me a reason to really dive back into music, not the way that I
Yeah,
used to be, and not
yeah,
just sit back and ignore the songs that come out or
yeah,
anything like that. Like I'm excited to do this.
yeah.
This
I
is
am too.
definitely
I
going to be
am
a
too.
journey.
Yes, it's gonna be exciting. So I think, we definitely have a lot of things to talk about. Cardi B's new this, coming out with a lot of new a new songs, project I hear. We have some other couple of other genres. The word is that Britney Spears is working on something. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's probably the
Cool.
best. If you look at her Instagram every day. Love to her though. Um, Justin Timberlake. I'm excited about his new album. It's not 2020, you know, that album is flawless to me, but he has some bangers on this one. So we have a lot of, of music and things to cover. And I'm excited to do this with you. I'm excited for all of you to join this journey and to be a part of it. Um, you know, Please follow us on our Instagrams, the Mary Jane Maven, our YouTube. Hubby will go ahead and put that all down. And if you guys haven't listened to other podcasts, he is the producer, so you will occasionally hear him, chime in. But we will be doing this. I think we're gonna try to do it because we are very busy. But I think what's realistic is probably twice a month right now until we
Yeah, I
see,
can do that.
kind of where things are going. But I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to go over this. If you guys have any suggestions of any topics you guys would like to join us, please drop us a line. You can go through either one of our Instagram or YouTube accounts and get in contact with us. Yeah, I am super excited about this, and I want to thank you so much for joining me, my guest co-host. And I'm going to go ahead and leave you. What I'd like to do is pretty much every podcast I host, I like to provide with a mic drop, just that little, that little bit of information, whether it's a nugget of, info, whether it's a song lyric, whatever it is. We're gonna go ahead and let Shelly leave us with our word of wisdom or our mic drop tonight.
A mic drop? I'm kind of put on the spot.
I do that. I do that. You should know that as well already. But no, you whatever it is, it could be
It could be anything. This is my first
anything.
mic drop, so okay.
Hey,
I guess
anything.
the one thing that I will leave you guys with is don't let anybody disturb your energy. All right. Be you to the fullest that you can be, enjoy life and do the things that you love because that's the moment in life that I'm in right now. So that's my mic drop to y'all.
Yes.
And yeah, man, just protect your energy at all times.
Yes, and always keep yourself in mind. Know your worth and add tax. So I'm going to add on to that. That is a fantastic mic drop. So until next time, everybody, we want to thank you so much for joining us. And Shelly, I want to thank you so much for your, like I said, being a guest host. I'm loving this opportunity that we have. And to the hubby, thank you so much as well for your great production skills. We will see you next time. Music and Mary Jane.
Peace out. Bye, guys.